My hands are gonna be so strong doing so many videos lately, squeezing that hard. Okay, so how are you? We've been busy lately catching up on videos. We're testing something. We were trying to see what's gonna get stolen, what's gonna be hint dropped at, you know. Please, beloveds, if you're on our side, don't take the bait, because we are pretty much nailing everybody who's taking this bait, because, you know, hey, we gotta put this to a stop. I don't know what kind of a DanceWarrior Rubans Rouge video this is gonna be per se, because it deals with some heady subject, but we have been bringing what has been happening to us to light, and apparently it has been happening personally to me for too long, and it has been ruling, controlling, and they've been attempting to ruin my life. We want to warn people who are on our side. We want to warn people who might not even know what this is, and you know, we're not going to say any names or anything. That's coming soon, though, when we're given permission to do so. And you know, now some of you will say, oh, for Pete's sake, no wonder why. No, if things will make sense as you look back too. And yeah, I don't know how else to say it. So if you go to my personal social media page, just flip through it and you can see all the various evidence of things that we've been enduring. Everything from, you know, the helicopters circling us and following us, and this has never happened to us before. We've been alive collectively, all of us, for a very long time. And this is just, you know, we know what it is. We can't really completely say yet, but it's not good. Let's put it that way. And we're putting it to an end. And you know, my family should not have had to endure this, nor myself. I mean, I've never done anything to anybody. I've held people to account for doing things wrong and harming me. You know, I'm gonna do that. Who wouldn't? You know, it's just really, it's an ugly truth that it's gonna break everybody's hearts. It breaks my heart. I mean, I lived it. But everything makes so much sense now. And I'm like, wow. You want to talk about hate? The other video I mentioned a little bit, I had a conversation on the phone today with somebody, and they were accusing me of being hateful, and I'm like, oh, don't go there. Get your dictionary out and let's review it, right? Let's review our conversation. Well, I mean, they were recording it completely. So, you know, it's just like, I have the time, let's review it. What did I say that was hateful? You know, don't go there with me, because I have African blood in me, and I know what it's like to be hated because of, you know, this. And it's like, well, you know, why? You know?
Yeah.
I don't look Jewish. Not by any means. But, you know, this was something that was brought into my family. I was really, you know, I was raised Christian, Protestant, Catholic, which all kind of conflicts, and yet they have similarities, meaning the risen Lord Jesus, and
yeah.
So that's great. But you know, you want to talk about hatred, I'll get to that in a moment. So let's just remember to get back to that. Let's bookmark that and get back to what hatred really is and the definition of it. But right here, I want you to show our beautifuls and beloveds what has been happening to us. This is just on the smaller side of it.
There we go. Can you see it in the frame?
Yeah. Okay, can you see this? This is, you're going to tell the story, or should I?
I guess I could.
Okay.
So this is one of my shirts, and as you can see, I am not that big as this shirt is. So what we found out is that someone was probably coming into our homes and stretching out our clothes or putting them on or something. same thing was happening to hers.
Yeah, because I was saying, what is going on here? And it was very disturbing what was happening. And I'm like, oh my God. Because he had just taken it off, and I work with fabric, and I know that fabric just doesn't fall apart after you wear it. You know, he wasn't like stretching it out and doing anything with it. You know, some kids can do that. He's obviously not a kid. He's a grown, mature man. And we were finding my clothes. It was a lot of, like, some of my favorite things, too. And his clothes now, and I'm like, you know, because these people who've been listening to us, they knew that that was really bothering me. They look for anything that they can latch onto that bothers you, and they try to put you into a psychological tizzy. By the way, it's a crime to do this to a human being, especially, you know, a corporation or something like that. But, you know, okay, fine, stretch out our clothes, because I was like, putting my clothes on? My husband putting my clothes, and then there's no way, because I'm too tiny, they, you know, but nonetheless stretched out. And I was like, this smells strange, and it didn't smell like either of my family members or any of my friends. So I'm like, you know, you just kind of wonder, you put that on the back burner, and then one thing leads to another and leads to another, and then other peculiar things were happening, like you know, we would go someplace, and if it was a holiday, whatever represented that holiday, that symbol was placed on our property. And it wasn't for decoration, because this happened after the fact. It wasn't pre-decorated. Like, you know, we have somebody here who goes around and decorates the courtyard and stuff. And I'm not talking about that. That's really sweet and nice, and we know who's doing it, and it's not a creeper. But this was like after the fact to let us know we know where you were. So we went to the beach once, and we shook everything out, and we washed everything, the blankets, the beach blankets, and, you know, there was no sand. I don't like a dirty inside vehicle. Nobody really does. And I remember we cleaned it.
Yeah, we shook it out, everything.
Yeah, and then within a few days, it was like somebody took, like, a big...
large amount of sand.
Yeah, enough to fit at least a coffee mug,
Mm-hmm.
and just poured it in the fold, inside a fold of our blanket. And then we were like, wait a minute, didn't we just clean this? And so we're all asking each other, and like, you know, just to double check, because we could be mistaken, but we weren't. And so once that started happening, we started using more and more cameras to catch people, to document everything, and we found a lot of things out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we were talking about, well, who's doing this? Who's doing this to us? And then we found a whole bunch of apple cores, you know, an apple with the little bite taken out of it, thrown on our back patio, and I'm like, but it wasn't just that, it was just a whole bunch of other things. You know, apples are for eating, if you ask me. But it was just a lot of different things like that. So if we mentioned a word or we were questioning something, we would find these objects. And then my sunglasses went missing. And we're like, where? This is ridiculous. Where did they go? Right now I'm missing one of my loungewear outfits. It has a black bandeau top and a gray skirt. It's really adorable and cute. And we don't know where it went. It just disappeared. But anyway, the sunglasses, they just totally like disappeared, and then they showed up in a place that you are sure that you looked in.
Yes.
And they were just perched in there, like very gently, perfectly placed. And it's like, okay, I don't do that. Everything has a home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't the home. It was in our vehicle. I'm like, what are they doing in there? And then I said, how much does it cost to bury the truth? Remember that? And I said to you, $1. Remember that one?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I'm not going to tell you how or why that is, because I had a feeling we were being eavesdropped upon. I said, I'm not going to tell you that. I'll wait to tell you that much later date when this is all over. And we were finding dollar bills folded in a very particular way inside our vehicle. And I'm like, is this yours? Did you? And it was nobody's. It's somebody's. So that's pretty disturbing. And I would find these in different places. How do you bury the truth, which is evidence? And I'm like, what are they going to do to our vehicle? And then we go to a parking lot, and then somebody dumps, it was like this oily substance. And I'm like, it was very scary. We have it all on video too, the entire episode. And we had to call the police and everything like that.
Yeah.
It was very, very peculiar and very suspicious. But a lot of this stuff has been happening, and I'm like, that's not okay. And then people, like, we would have a private conversation, or me and my husband, or he and my husband, and somebody unrelated to us that we didn't even know, but would be put in their paths or us in their paths, they would regurgitate excerpts of those private conversations back to us and work it into our new conversation. Did I explain that correctly?
Yes.
So obviously somebody is eavesdropping and recording us, and that's not legal to do. And then, kind of screwing with us and causing trauma. That's more than just harassment, because then how do they get these words? Well, that's illegal too.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about commonplace things that just happen to come up in conversation, like a lot of people. This is very unique stuff. And, plus you can just look online at half the stuff that has been stolen from me. It's not hard to figure this out, who it is and why they're doing this. Having to live like this. This is hate. This is, if you love somebody, why would you treat them like this? And these are people I don't even know, but they know me. And I'm like, wait, I don't want you in my life. Corporations using other people.
Yeah.
And then sometimes these people didn't even realize that they were being used like that. But they would go to like seminars or something like that. Apparently my words are good enough to record, and then like they would go to like a wellness seminar or something like that, and my words were used and put on a speaker or in a slideshow or in a video, because I talk about a whole bunch of things. I have a lot of knowledge. I'm very well read. And we went to a doctor's office once, and we saw a video playing, like, this is from our conversation about my husband's weight sneaking up on him, and I'm seeing it in video form I said, it'd be interesting to do a cartoon with no faces in a certain way, and they used that with our conversation as the dialogue and narrative of their little video. Remember that? It
Yes.
was just so freaky. And I'm like, wait a second, do you remember this conversation? So, that's why we had to start, like, recording our lives 24/7, so we could say, look, see, how's this happening? So there are various ways that this is happening, and in some instances, they full well know that they were memorizing a script and, like, being a real-life actor, but not really acting, but regurgitating words, but in their own profession. So something is very strange going on.
Yeah.
And so we did some research, and we have some people who are doing some research for us too, and it helped us a lot. And they too, like, how did you guys endure this? Because this is the kind of stuff that military families or special op people, CIA, FBI, and all of that, can endure when they're on special assignments and projects, and they have to decompress and debrief and all of this stuff, and it's like we're not signed up for that. What are you talking about? You know, none of us are. That's not our thing. I want to dance, sing, write, act. You know, I didn't sign up for any of that. What the heck is going on? But that just shows you the extent that, you know, these people who, you know, want my stuff, they want my stuff, are going through. And then now, you know, I'm very sorry. I can't even begin to explain. I mean, I can explain it very easily. It's not hard to figure out. It's not complicated at all. But you know, I don't know how to explain what is going on in here because of all of this. It's very wrong. I've never been hated so much in my life. And these are by people I don't even know. I've never done anything to them. But we traced it. We traced it back to deeper roots than just what it is currently. And yeah, it's pretty startling and staggering. And they were hoping that we didn't have a lot of stuff, and we do. We found everything pretty much. But you know. And then in current times, it was just a different access means, because we thought it was just, you know, modern day digital type stuff, and it is, but it went further back before all of this digital stuff happened. So it's been pretty much the same people all along, but because my last name has changed so many times legally because of who owned me at the time, or who was my parent, or, you know, marriage, not married, and all of that. And you know, perhaps they didn't know it was me the whole time. Perhaps they did. It's just creepy to think that somebody could be watching you for that many years. You know, people talk about having crazy fans stalking you. And it's like, well, what if it's a corporation who just passed it down the line? Oh, this is a good source type of thing. You know. Yeah, I know I'm a good source, but I never signed any contract, and you can't transfer a contract. Like if I was in somebody's TV show, you can't take that contract and share it with everybody else or misapply it to another thing. That's also a crime, isn't it?
I'm assuming it is.
Well, it's forgery too.
Well, if it's done without your permission, then you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on with that.
Yeah.
We found out. You know, because we never did that. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I really don't understand. What else? Also, my mind went blank. I'm so sorry. There's just so much going on. How do you... you're going to school. I don't know. Am I pushing you out of frame? I'm sorry.
I think so.
What do you think about all the stuff that's been happening? Because you've been, like, seeing it firsthand.
It's pretty heady stuff, that's for sure. Tiring, but I think we got a good grasp on it.
Oh, I know we got a good grasp on it. It invigorates my mind to have to problem solve and to figure out who's doing what.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually very interesting. It's very cliche and corny how they went about it. Think of the old Heart to Heart episodes. Think of, I know it was my boss's show. I'm not dissing him, guys. Don't even think that. He even said that his stuff was fast food television entertainment, fast food entertainment. He knew what he was doing, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, I love everybody that was on that show. You know, I'm sure they know that. But the thing is that I find really interesting, it's like one of those, you know, the corny, if I may say so. And yeah, and it's just a weird thing. You never think that something like that would happen to you. But you know, my old boss, he used to tell me stuff and protect yourself, and I just never thought anybody would go to this extent, you know. Knowing that I was good, having him tell me how good I was too, and yet you have all these others that were, you know, not letting me get further. I would always reach like the plateau, and they would never let me get any further. They had to control me, and I'm like, don't control me. Nobody controls me. They try to. It's very, very horrible. So I want to get back to what we were bookmarking about hatred. Okay, so what prompted me to even talk about it is because what I was falsely accused of today, and like I said, we watched the other video, but I challenged this person. It's like, no, you know, I'll play back my words, you play back your words, and they had my words too. Let's see what I said. There's no hate. Anger, oh yeah. Wouldn't you be angry if somebody sent things to collection that wasn't even your debt in the first place because somebody said, oh, I knew I was too close to you. I wasn't even driving. I was an innocent passenger. You were an innocent passenger. And whammo, my life changed forever. I could have died.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm angry. Sending the debt to collection. You're not even supposed to do that. We have lien letters.
Well, yeah.
You know, and that protects us. And even if we didn't, we're not responsible for the bill. This person who rammed into us. So, you know, let's talk about hate in the definition. And, you know, 'tis the season to be everything, apparently, nowadays. And so we were discussing hate and hatred and the definition of it. And so I challenged this person to, you know, tell me what was so hateful about what I said. I said, oh no, I'm angry. And I didn't do anything. Anger said not, that whole thing. So, there you go. And so, in talking about hatred, I have never felt such hatred before in my life. And I don't understand it, starting to, and it's very wicked. The seed of evil can reside in man's heart to the point of wanting that person to hopefully commit suicide so you don't have to pay the price for your sin. I mean, isn't that ultimately what they were trying to get me to do? And why they're ultimately trying to play all these mind games and stuff?
Pretty much, yeah.
What's your perception of it?
No, that is my perception.
That is your perception. You know, ain't gonna happen. Sorry to disappoint you. Or I'm happy to disappoint you, however that would go, that saying would go. You know, I know my value and I know my worth, and so do you. I mean, if my stuff is good enough to steal, it's good enough for me to own, and it's good enough for me to make money, and not you all. So, you know, I never freely gave ideas. Oh, go ahead, take my dance idea. If I'm discussing it here in my own home, I expect to have privacy, and I expect nobody else to be recording me and then giving my ideas to other people. I don't do that. If I'm consulting, it's face-to-face, I get paid or something, and I have to okay it. Nobody else says, okay, and then steals my idea and then decides what my compensation is. I get to decide that. But you know what? I don't want to make you into me. Too bad. You know, I'm sorry that God didn't bless you and give you the gifts that He gave me. I don't want you what you have. I don't even care what you have. I'm saying, good for you. Go do your thing. Leave me alone. That doesn't mean isolate me. It doesn't mean blacklist me. 'Cause I've been blacklisted for doing no wrong. I've been blacklisted not because of my political views. By the way, I'm apolitical and I'm nonpartisan. You know, I do stand up for right or wrong no matter who the person is. So if a current president or a past president does right or wrong, I'm going to say so. But that's besides the point. The hatred. I'm astounded. And then people trying to turn things around on me. It's like, yo, you better be sure about this, because I'm pretty sure we have this more and very well documented above and beyond what you really think we do. No bluff. You know, save that shirt, don't wash it, because, you know, DNA that's not yours or mine or your father's will have rubbed off on it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they had gloves on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We can figure this out. It's just that bad, guys, you know? So this is my payment for being so talented. I know I'm talented. I've known what I wanted to do since I was a little girl, and I did do it as best I could. We've had to go back in time and dig all this stuff up, and it's like, oh my gosh, here it is. It's right here. And at the time, you don't think much of it, and then you look back and like, oh my God. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I don't know. So, what makes man's heart hate people so much?
Usually their own pride.
Do you have an example?
No.
I'm thinking too that maybe it's a sin nature, of course. That goes without saying, though. It almost sounds cliche, and too easy. But everyone's gonna find out soon enough what we're really talking about. Like I said, we're only sharing so much, but it's just devastating. It really is. I can't believe that all this time I was like, oh my gosh, why can't I get further? Why do I always get stopped at the same place? And then what? They just wanted me to create stuff and cultivate it just enough so then they could take it.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they did to the Jews in World War II? Very similar. Rounded them up, put them in the ghettos, surrounded them, isolated them, no communication in or out, stole their stuff from them and gave it and redistributed it to somebody else. I have a problem with a lot of the films that try to deny the Holocaust or any Holocaust. There were many of them, actually. You know, there was the Armenian genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. You know, people are brainwashed. Little kids brainwashed to hate people and to say, you need to be dead just because you are this race and you look like this. And I was like, really? Who says so? And they didn't do any evil or any wrong.